Now let's see the classification of clouds. So clouds can be basically classified into four types: high clouds, medium clouds, low clouds, and clouds which has a vertical extent, meaning that they extend from lower region till higher region. The high clouds, which are formed between 6 to 12 km, they are mainly cirrus, Cirrocumulus, Cirrostratus. Then in medium clouds we have Altocumulus and Altostratus. In low clouds, which are formed less than 2 km, they are Stratocumulus, Stratus, and Nimbostratus. In clouds which has this vertical extent, they are Cumulus and Cumulonimbus. Now, one common characteristic you will see that there is cumulus and stratus clouds in all of them. So cumulus clouds are basically clouds which are like small lumps. They are like this wave-like structure which indicates convection. Whenever there is convection in the region, generally a cumulus cloud will be formed. Stratus cloud are more uniformly distributed types of cloud, which we will see one by one when we go through these types of cloud. So let's start with cirrus cloud, which is a typical high cloud or high altitude cloud which is formed 4 to 20 km high. It is made of ice crystals, mainly because at such height the temperature is below freezing point. So the water droplets, they convert into ice crystals. These type of clouds are generally feathery or hair-like or layered. So you can see they are generally feathery like this. They are very thin or very thin layered. They look fibrous. It appears like thin threads in the blue sky. So you can see that they are appearing like the thin threads, and that is why they are called mare's tail, that is female horse's tail. So here you can see that they look like horse's tail. That is why they are given this name. It indicates fair weather and often gives brilliant sunset. The ice crystals from these clouds melt before reaching the ground. So sometimes these ice clouds, the ice, they will start to fall. But as they continue in the lower atmosphere, because of higher temperatures, they will evaporate. So these clouds do not give rainfall. Even if the clouds, they start to precipitate, they start to fall, the ice crystals will be evaporated much before they could reach the earth. These are very thin and generally they indicate fair weather. Their shape is characteristics of the horse's tail, and that is why it is called mare's tail. Next is Cirrocumulus. Now Cirro means high, cumulus we have discussed, it is like these wave shaped or clump shaped clouds. So here we can see this is Cirrocumulus type of clouds. They are white globular masses forming ripples in a mackerel sky. Now mackerel fish with scales. So this is a mackerel fish, and you can see the scales of this fish are very similar to the pattern of the clouds in the sky, and that is why these type of clouds are also called mackerel fish with scale. Once they are given the example of mackerel sky. They occur at an altitude of 5 to 12 km, appear as white patchy seeds with ripples or tufts without gray shading. So you can see that there is no gray shading because they are not very thick, and they are like these white patchy seeds. They are predominantly made of ice crystals. Again, it is at very high height, 5 to 12 km. The temperature is below freezing point. So it are formed of ice crystals. Can have supercooled water droplets because of the low temperature in this region. These clouds indicate convection in the region. So we have discussed that cumulus clouds are mainly formed due to convection. So whenever you have cumulus clouds, you can understand that it is formed because of convection. There is convection in this region. Therefore, they indicate convection in the region. They are short-lived transitional phase in area of cirrus clouds. So they are generally a transitional phase where they may indicate that the cirrus clouds were there and formed by breaking up of cumulonimbus clouds anvil. So the cumulonimbus clouds, which we will discuss later, they are very tall clouds and they spread till the upper atmosphere. But when they break, they form these type of clouds. So these clouds can indicate that there was this cumulonimbus clouds earlier, and there is a short transition period between the cumulonimbus cloud and clear sky. So at that time this can be formed. The next type of cloud is Cirrostratus cloud, and we have discussed that the stratus cloud are more evenly distributed types of cloud. So here we can see they resemble thin white seed. They are more evenly distributed. The sky looks milky. When they are present, the sky will have slightly white texture. It will look slightly milky. A high altitude, very thin and generally uniform layering of the cloud. So we have already seen that cirrus means high altitude and stratus means more evenly distributed. So these are uniform layering of clouds at higher altitudes. Because of the high height they are formed, they will have ice crystals because the temperature here is below freezing point. So the water will convert to ice crystals. Sun and moon shine through it, forming a halo. So you can see that sun, when it shines through these clouds, it will have a halo characteristic. That is the dimming white region found around this sun when it shines through these clouds. So you can see a halo is there. Cirrostratus clouds sometimes signal the approach of a warm front if they form after cirrus and spread from one area across the sky, and maybe signs that precipitation might follow. So these type of clouds could be formed through different regions, but here we are discussing a particular characteristics where they are formed when warm front is approaching. Now if you have seen the warm front video, then you will see that different types of clouds are formed one by one. So the cirrostratus clouds can also be formed if the front is moving, if the warm front is there. So these type of clouds can be formed, but there are different regions, variety of causes which can lead to formation of cirrostratus clouds. Now let's see Altocumulus clouds. Now we have already discussed cumulus clouds are these lumpy clouds. So again we can see these are the lumpy or wave-like clouds. These are woolly bumpy clouds arranged in layers. They appear like waves in blue sky. Normally indicate fine weather. Altocumulus signifies convection. We have already discussed that cumulus clouds will be formed when there will be convection. Can indicate region where cumulonimbus clouds can form later, despite development of thunderstorms. Now the next type of clouds are altocumulus clouds. We have already discussed that alto means mid-layer or mid-altitude clouds, while cumulus means this kind of lumpy or woolly bumpy clouds. And they are formed when there is convection. So if we see woolly bumpy clouds arranged in layers, appears like waves in the blue sky. We can see they are like waves because they are slightly thicker, so there will be some darker portions, some whiter portions, so it will appear like waves. Normally indicate fine weather. Altocumulus signifies convection. All the cumulus clouds, they will indicate convection. Can indicate region where cumulonimbus clouds can form because there is convection. And if the convection intensifies, then it could lead to formation of cumulonimbus clouds. So it could indicate that in shorter time cumulonimbus clouds can be formed in that region, which would lead to development of thunderstorms. They are also found between warm and cold front. So we have discussed that on warm fronts several types of clouds are formed. Almost all types of clouds can be seen in the warm front except the cumulonimbus clouds. The cumulonimbus clouds are generally seen with cold front. Next is Altostratus clouds. They are denser, grayish colored and with a watery look. Now we have discussed that stratus clouds are more evenly distributed. They are not patchy like the cumulonimbus clouds. So here we can see that they have slightly even distribution across the sky. They are again fibrous and striated structure. The sun's rays shine faintly through it, and striated means alternating light and dark bands. So here you can see that they are the alternating bands. There is some brighter portions, some darker portions. So this is called striated structure. So altostratus structure has this kind of look. Next is Stratocumulus. Now we are coming to the lower clouds. And here again we have seen that the cumulus clouds or the woolly or bumpy clouds, they are cumulus clouds, and here we have Stratocumulus. So this is in the lower atmosphere. They are rough, bumpy clouds with the waves more pronounced than in Altocumulus. So here the waves, the bumpiness is more pronounced. There is great contrast between bright and shaded parts. Weak convective currents create shallow cloud layers. So these are also created by the convection current. If the convection is not that strong, then shallower clouds will be formed. If the convective cells are stronger and spread over long area, then they will generate thicker clouds. But if the convective cells are very strong, then cumulonimbus clouds will be formed, which we will discuss a little later. Drier, stable air above prevents continued vertical development. So when this warm air, it rises up, it will take the water vapor, and these kind of columns, small columns are formed. But above this, there is drier and stable air, so it prevents further movement of the air upwards. Therefore, these airs, they are confined to a layer. However, when this convection is very strong, you will see that the rising air will move upwards and they will form a very big column of air, which is called cumulonimbus clouds. Now here are lower clouds. We have stratus. Again, we have discussed stratus are more evenly distributed clouds, but these are the clouds which are found near the land or very close to the hilltops. So they are very low clouds, uniformly grey and thick, appears like a low ceiling or highland fog. So they will in the hilly region appear like a fog because they are very close to the land. Brings dull weather with light drizzle, reduces visibility of aircraft, flat, hazy, featureless clouds at low altitudes varying in color from dark gray to nearly white. You can see that they are not features, so you do not see different regions, they are darker or brighter, but they are more or less even. Here you can see that if it is white, it is evenly white. If it is darker, it is evenly darker. So that is why it is featureless clouds, generally white to gray, and they bring slight drizzles. They are very close to the land. Next is Nimbostratus. So this is a variation of stratus which has very dark, dull clouds, clearly layered. You can see these are very dense clouds. They are also known as rain clouds. It brings continuous rain, snow or sleet. So these are the rain giving clouds. The Nimbostratus, they are known for giving rainfall. They are generally very dark and very evenly spread. Then we have cumulus clouds. These are the vertical clouds. A vertical cloud with rounded top and horizontal base. You can see this is an example of cumulus cloud. It has this rounded tops and the base you can see is almost flat. The reason is that the air which is rising up, it will take the moisture up. Now there will be a layer above which the water will start to condense. So there clouds will start to form, but it will rise up. Different column of air will rise at different heights. So you will see this kind of structure. Different clouds will have different heights. There is a stable layer above it, so it will not be able to go very high, and that is why you see that they are constrained till a given height. A vertical cloud with rounded top and horizontal base. Here is rounded top and there is this horizontal base, also known as rain cloud. It brings continuous rain, snow or sleet associated with uprising convectional currents. So we know that when there is convectional currents, the air rises, it forms these type of clouds. Cumulus clouds generally indicate convection. Its great white globular masses may look grey against the sun. It is a fair weather cloud. So it does give rainfall, but it also sometimes indicates fair weather. So remember, all the clouds, they can be formed through different mechanisms. Some mechanisms could indicate good weather, while sometimes it could be formed in the process of an upcoming front or rainfall. Now the last one is Cumulonimbus, and this is the most important cloud. It is an overgrown cumulus cloud. So here we can see an example. These are the smaller cumulus clouds, but this is an overgrown cumulus cloud. Remember, here the updraft is very strong. It was able to carry the moisture till very high, and that is why a continuous cloud is formed over here. This has a very great vertical extent. It extending for tremendous vertical height of several kilometers. So it could extend for several kilometers. Its cauliflower top often spreads out like an anvil. So this top, it spreads like anvil. Here you can see that it is still forming, but when it is completely formed, it will give you a shape of an anvil, something like this. It is spread something like this over here. It is found in tropical afternoons. Why? Because at this time the air is heated and it is rising up at a very high velocity, and that is why when it is rising at a very high velocity, it could reach very high in the atmosphere, forming these type of clouds. They are referred as thunder clouds because they give a lot of rainfall. Brings convectional rainfall accompanied by lightning and thunder, and they are also associated with cold fronts. Now in the last part of this chapter, we have haze, mist and fog. So haze is caused by smoke and dust particles in an industrial area, or due to unequal refraction of light in air of different densities in the lower atmosphere. So generally it is caused by smoke and dust, but sometimes it could be caused by different layers of air having different densities which reduce visibility. This is very rare and this is the general name for haze. The term is usually used in connection with reduction of visibility in the region of low humidity, less than 75. So remember, mostly fog or mist or all these, when they occur, the humidity is higher. But this haze, it particularly occurs when the humidity is less. So humidity is less than 75%. And then when there is disturbance in visibility, there is lowered visibility. So we call it haze. The next is mist. So unlike haze, which was caused by dry air, the mist is caused by wet air where the relative humidity is greater than 75%. So here the high amount of water vapor in the atmosphere causes mist. Mist is caused by formation of cloud near the earth. So this occurs when there is high humidity in the air and the night is very cold. The water vapor in the air will condense to form water droplets. They will be suspended in the air, reducing the visibility. So this kind of condition is called mist. And the visibility is generally greater than 1 kilometer in the mist. So the density of the cloud is lesser in mist. And when we come to the fog, it is caused by the similar mechanism. However, here the density of the cloud which is formed near the air, it is higher and therefore the visibility is less than 1 kilometer. So again, it is due to water condensing on dust and other particles near the Earth's surface. Occurs in lower strata of the atmosphere as a sort of dense ground cloud. So the fog is also called ground cloud because the water vapor has condensed to form clouds near the Earth. Visibility is less than 1 kilometer. It is denser than mist. Fog more common over seas than land. So ocean areas, they see more fog than land. Fog more common in temperate region than in tropics. Obviously, the temperature is lower in the temperate region. Therefore, it is more common in the temperate region. In fact, interior regions of land also experience more mist and haze compared to fog. Now, there are different types of fog. One is hill fog, occurs on hills seen in morning and it disappears by the sunrise. So here you can see an example of hill fog which is formed by the nights. It is seen in the morning and by the afternoon it disappears. Then we have radiation cooling fog. So if there is very cold night and the earth gives away radiation and there is no clouds, so there will be cooling of the earth. The air which is adjacent to the earth will also cool down and water in this layer of air will condense to form fog or mist. So this is called radiation cooling. Fog created by release of radiation by the land during night. Loss of radiation makes adjacent cooler, causes condensation of moisture. Next is sea fog. When cooling surface is over the sea, damp air stream comes in contact with cold air, example Newfoundland. So these type of fogs, they vary in depth and thickness. So sometimes there is cold ocean current, and when a warm air which has a lot of moisture comes in contact with that cold ocean current, so the moisture in the air will condense to form fog over the sea. Newfoundland is an example where Labrador current moves in front of the Newfoundland and there is westerlies which are flowing from the tropical region towards the polar region or towards the higher temperate region. So they carry a lot of moisture and when they come in contact, a lot of fog is found around in these regions. With this, we will conclude our video on the 13th chapter of GC Leong. I hope you have liked the video. If you have liked the video, then do subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. And if you like what we are doing, then you can support us using the Paytm ID. Thanks for watching the video.